Xavier was just telling us moments ago that new poll out of Florida revealing why the state's governor may be former President Trump's biggest threat in a hypothetical 2024 GOP primary. Let's bring these numbers back up again. Data for Progress asking likely Republican Florida voters which candidate they would support for president if the primary was held tomorrow. And you can see Governor DeSantis edging out the former president by 2 percentage points. We do want to welcome in NewsNation political editor Chris Stirewalt. Chris, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Great to be with you.
So what do you make of these new numbers out of Florida?
Well, I'm not going to put too much stock in a Democratic poll a year before you even should start, but I can't resist thinking about it just a little bit. And the truth is, Ron DeSantis is a formidable opponent for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis has learned from Donald Trump how to do the showmanship part and the what will we say, culture war for fun and profit, the big distractions, how to capture news cycles and how to do all that stuff. But he's also, unlike Trump, really disciplined and he's really smart. And he has achieved a lot in Florida that other Republicans who wouldn't maybe say this publicly would say of DeSantis that they've been impressed by it.
Yeah.
So DeSantis is formidable and he won't give Trump the thing that Trump needs, which is, oh, thank you, our great leader, I owe it all to you. And DeSantis does that. Now, Trump is framing this rally as that he didn't invite DeSantis. That rally is a punishment for Marco Rubio. If this was a close race, Rubio would have begged for Trump not to be there. Good news for Rubio, it's a blowout in Florida. J.D. Vance isn't worried in Ohio. They're doing with Trump. Trump is going places where he can't hurt or whether the harm that he causes will be minimal. In the same way, they sent Kamala Harris to Boston. Now, you know you're not an asset for the Democratic Party if they're sending you to campaign in Boston ahead of a midterm. So these are safe places to dump people. Ron DeSantis doesn't want to be on the campaign trail with Donald Trump, who is just as unpopular as Joe Biden.
Amazing context. Really appreciate it. Thank you. In the last hour, we were just speaking with a Republican congressional representative from Ohio, and he kind of refused to play ball with us in terms of saying if he would support DeSantis or Trump hypothetically. He basically said, though, he would support whoever it was because it was better than Biden. Is that generally the line that we're seeing right now and the push we're seeing right now?
Well, I think in both parties we've reached a toxic point of negative partisanship where Democrats' closing argument in this election is the Republicans are bad. Their democracy's on the ballot. If the Republicans get elected, our democracy will die in darkness. Republicans are saying, and just to unhinged levels of, it's Joe Biden's fault for crime. Everything is a disaster because of Joe Biden. This kind of negative partisanship creates a problem, which is we do not hold our own sides to high enough standards. Right? We just say, well, it's better. The devil I know, it's better than the other side. That's not good enough in this country. And when we allow our leaders to demonize other people in this country and use the kind of demagogic rhetoric that is common in both parties now, certainly Trump escalated it, took it to another level. But that's the standard. We can't accept that because if we do, we will lose our republic, not to one party or to the other, but to this acid bath of negative partisanship that doesn't allow us to look for better leaders.
It's a fascinating point, and I wonder, for example, the situation that's unfolding in Georgia right now. Would a scandal like Walker is facing, scandals that Walker has been facing in the past several weeks, have sunk any other candidate 15 years ago?
I don't know. We've had some moments in America. Marion Barry definitely got reelected as the mayor of Washington, D.C. After being caught on videotape doing some very unflattering things. We have comebacks and all of this stuff. It's part of the story. What is remarkable to me about this Georgia Senate race is the foolishness of having nominated Walker in the first place. Look at how Brian Kemp has run against Stacey Abrams compared to what Republicans have had to spend. These two parties have put $250 million into advertising. I pity the poor people of Georgia as they've been inundated with this. If the Republicans had not given in to Donald Trump in Georgia and just picked a normal man or woman Republican, some member of Congress in a blue suit, and put them up against Raphael Warnock, he'd be down 10 points and the Democrats would have written him off long ago. It is the decision to have Walker at Trump's behest that has cost them all this money and all this trouble.
Well, and you have a lay of the land, context and understanding, I think probably better than anyone leading up to these midterms. I think it's true. It's not flattery. It's just true. So
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.